welcome everyone to our QuickStarts Online Event in Europe. We've hosted a few of these for over the past few weeks to really launch our Quick Starts here around the globe, actually, in a number of different system types, which we'll look at today. We are joined today by, there's a few of us here on the call from the Vera Solutions team. My name is Katrina Seidel. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at Vera. And really, I would say that role means that I get to support and chat with organizations who are looking to move to Salesforce to streamline their operations. And for the last 5.5 years or so, I've been able to support many impactful organizations that are solving pretty big problems in this world. I'm also joined by my esteemed colleague, Rory. I'll let him give an intro.
Thanks, Katrina. I am Rory McLean. I work with Katrina and the business development team quite closely in exactly that, trying to offer our partners, the organizations that we serve, and trying to leverage the greater Salesforce ecosystem in offering them tools and solutions and removing the barriers to entry and supporting you where we can with solutions like the few that we're going to speak about today. So really excited that we here and can share this opportunity with you. Thanks, Katrina.
Thanks, Roy. So you'll be hearing from a combo of Rory and myself today, and hopefully a little bit of yourselves too, as we want to engage through a platform that we're on here called Menti, which we'll introduce in just a moment. Our agenda for today is we've done some introductions, and we're going to then move into just the challenges that we hear in managing data and impact, and how and why Quick Starts really came into being. We'll then look at our Quick Start packages and Salesforce specifically, and then how to get started, just practically what might that look like. So as we kick off, we're going to be using this platform called Menti. So there's two ways that you can access this. One is you can head over to menti.com and you can enter the code 56295234. Zenit will also pop that code in the chat right now. And pop menti.com in the chat too, so you can just click on that. Or you can actually just use your telephone and you can scan this QR code here. So two ways to get that moving. I will actually just pop it in here. So we have menti.com, and then the password or the code here is 56295234. Oh, this is to everyone. Let me just type that in again. www.menti.com. 56295234. Great. So as we head on over there, we have a few questions to kick us off today. Let's start by just calling out, where in the world are you joining from today? You can actually just find yourself on the screen there on the map and pop yourself right on in there. Cool, looks like somewhere in Eastern Europe. We have a few coming in from the UK. Great. Wonderful. So primarily Europe we have today. We've done this and had a few from elsewhere in the world too. But great that we're chatting primarily with the European nonprofit audience here. That's great. Moving to our next question. What type of organization are you with today? Cool. Looks like we have nonprofit. Multilateral here. Cool. Got a little bit of a variety of organizations in the room. That's great. And what kind of team are you with? Are you with fundraising and the BD team, programs team, IT team, impact measurement and monitoring evaluation, finance, something else we may have just forgotten on this? Looks like we have some programs. What else might we have coming in? Great to see that Menti is also working kind of a fun way. All right, we have a few on the impact measurement team, wonderful, and some on the fundraising, cool. Great. Well, thanks for the intel. It's helpful to have a little bit of oh, another one on programs team too. Cool. Great. Helpful to have a little bit of insights of kind of who we're chatting with today and how we can hopefully make the content helpful for you all. And then size of your organization as the last one here. All right, we've got a fairly large, cool. Looks like we have 6 to 20. Great. Kind of a variety as well. Wonderful. Great. Well, with that, I'm going to pass it over to Rory to share a little bit about who we are here at Vera. And over to you, Rory.
Lovely. Thanks, Katrina. Yeah, as Katrina said, I would love to give you just an overview of who we are, the people and the organizations that we serve, to hopefully give you a background into just what we do for the nonprofits that we serve. So Vera, taking you all the way back, so Vera is a mission-driven organization geared towards amplifying the impact of the social sector. And we've been doing this for well over a decade now, with a particular focus around program, project management, grant management, and impact measurement, with a global team of about 130 staff all around the world, from Boston, Sao Paulo, Cape Town, Mumbai, Geneva, and London, and really work quite closely as a trusted Salesforce partner. We're actually an impact partner of Salesforce, and what that really means is that we work quite closely with nonprofits to develop the sector, but also to find out just what kind of solutions we can do and offer to help streamline what they do in order to have a greater impact on the people that they serve today. As I said, all the way back in 2010, we actually were born out of a nonprofit ourselves. So our co-founder and CEO used to work at Grassroots Soccer as an M&E consultant to develop what the early stages of AMP Impact, which we'll talk about later today as well. But basically started to notice a common thread across the sector, in that they wanted just a greater visibility and transparency in the way that we're doing that and understanding the impact. So we worked with the likes of Skoll Foundation to the Global Fund, as well as Earthworm and Tier Fund, the likes, as well as SASC and WaterAid, to develop what we are proud to call our partners and continue to serve on a day-to-day basis. Perfect. So I do want to, before we dive into QuickStarts today, I do want to share a bit about the common challenges that we see and heard across our portfolio of clients, as well as the sector. And a lot of these challenges really stem from technology limitations in managing the data and impact. Some of these challenges, really what we've seen is organizations really work within siloed systems and tools, but not only siloed systems and tools, really siloed teams. And what we do at Vera and Salesforce is we try to help engage with our community of partners and help them really connect and learn from each other, and taking that learnings and developing systems that can help streamline what you're currently doing and provide you with this one unified platform. And when we speak to unity, it's really connecting and sharing, and obviously having a single platform to help your day-to-day management of what you're currently doing at the moment. We've also seen extensive spreadsheets, and while some of them are really truly impressive, a lot of the times there's a lot of manual workarounds that comes into play in getting the data that you really want. And with that, we obviously want to have you as a future state looking at ways in which we can have these insights at a glance and providing you with a user-friendly tool that can obviously streamline what you're doing and making sure that it can save you time and putting in that time to have in the people that you serve and providing them with greater opportunities. As I mentioned, there are tons of ways we can obviously support you when you're thinking about just what a digitalization of what you're currently doing, and extending and taking that manual work out of it and helping streamline what you're currently doing as well. So what we want to obviously provide you with today is offer you some affordable opportunities so that you can obviously remove some of that initial system costs and thinking about investment and obviously ways in which we can bring you on to the digitalization in a much more affordable way and provide you, like I said, with pre-existing dashboards and reports to have you access that data in near real time. Thank you, Trina. And yeah, this reduces obviously manual reporting and providing you with that user-friendly, affordable system that can provide you with a single source of truth, really. So perfect. So finally, obviously looking at maybe some of the existing challenges that you face as an organization and how are you particularly managing this or understanding your impact? You can participate in the Menti question so we can help understand just what you're currently facing at the moment.
And a quick one, if you're still kind of stuck on one of the previous Menti slides, you have to actually push an arrow in the top right when you're responding. It's a little bit of a user interface glitch that I'm sure Menti will address soon. We've given them some feedback.
Yeah, we definitely see. I think I always call it we in 2024, and you imagine that we would have all advanced to this future state where everything is talking to each other and data is streamlined in a beautiful way. But unfortunately, a lot of us are still using multiple spreadsheets, systems that don't really talk to each other. We also probably struggle, like you mentioned, with lack of resources. And then what we try to do at Vera is provide you with this central system that can help you save time and providing you with that support really. And I spoke about obviously siloed systems. It can work in siloed teams as well. And really it helps leveraging a partner or even other organizations to understand just where they were in a similar part of their journey and how we as a partner can support you. Perfect. So again, in thinking about obviously this future state, it's important to understand just how to go about choosing a particular tool. So more than looking at the features, it's understanding whether the system is user friendly and that it adapts to the way that you are currently working. And foundationally, the system is set up to make sure that it has a secure environment that's flexible enough to provide interoperability opportunities to support extended systems, and then that can feed into this central source of truth as well. And also more than that, it provides opportunities for innovation. So is the tool that you're investing in innovating, or are you stuck within a fixed system that's hard to really expand? And making sure that it provides you an opportunity to leverage some of the existing learnings or even apps within an ecosystem of tools as well. And then finally, looking at costs is understanding just what are the setup costs, are there any licensing costs, and what are the maintenance and future costs? How can you build up your internal capacity to support future costs as well, so that you don't have to spend additional funds and investing in that opportunity? Yeah. Perfect. So in thinking about that, just what are the tools that you're currently using to manage your donations, programs, projects, and impact at the moment? And if this is on Salesforce or another tool, we would love to know.
Also helpful, I would say, for us to all learn from each other of what are other organizations using. That might be a whole separate webinar though in itself, though, where we could chat about that, or a bit of a roundtable.
Perfect. We see Excel as I mentioned. I've seen beautiful Excel sheets in my lifetime, and I know that sometimes it's very siloed. In order to get the data that you want, it takes a lot of thinking and a lot of planning. And moving to a system that you don't have to be an Excel expert or even a coding expert is definitely helpful to support just the long-term maintenance and future of the system. Perfect. So taking it all the way back, and understand just why we as Vera really spend our time in investing into Salesforce and why we strongly believe that moving to Salesforce is what we would have obviously preferred, and we can definitely see the benefits of that. And not only are they the market leader when it comes to CRM applications for the past 5 years, but it has obviously access to powerful tools that comes out of the box, like security and sharing permission sets, translation, or even multi-currency connections with your internal staff. So if you would like to chat, and if more than that, if you think about Salesforce as a relational database, it's really leveraging the tools to provide that internal collaboration so that you can process information and tasks better within your organizations. And I think more than that, it provides you with an opportunity to leverage the extensive App Store. So it provides us with integration opportunities. So if you do have integration with your finance systems required, etc. There are definitely things through the APIs that they offer that we could leverage, as well as providing you with a user-friendly experience that is mobile responsive, that provides you with automation possibilities that you can help automate certain workflows within your organization that's really tailored to your specific needs as an organization. We can definitely leverage within Salesforce that just provides a beautiful user experience throughout. Perfect. So to help us get there, Salesforce has really offered the opportunities for nonprofit organizations and educational institutions to have access to Salesforce products and resources to help expand their collective impacts. And they do that through providing you with 10 donated subscriptions and deep discounts on additional subscriptions that are needed. So what this means is that you can apply on the link provided. You can go to Salesforce. They can provide you with just what are the qualification criteria in order to qualify for those 10 donated licenses. And then you as an organization can access Salesforce. So I know a lot of the times there's some perceptions of just what Salesforce is really. And sometimes some of those can be it's quite expensive or it's just CRM. It really gives you an opportunity to really expand on what you're doing as a nonprofit in the sector. So they provided all of these tools to try to remove that barriers and try to get you started with Salesforce as quick as possible. If you do want more information on just how to get started, simply reach out to us. And we can definitely set you up with Salesforce directly to help start that conversation and help you get going on Salesforce in as quick as possible. Perfect. Over to you, Katrina.
Great. Wonderful. Thanks, Rory. I'm also just going to drop the link in the chat now too. If it's helpful, you can head on over. Oh, that was not the right link. Maybe Zena, if you can drop the right link in the chat, that would be great. It's just salesforce.com/company/power of us. So we heard a little bit about problems that organizations are faced. We heard a little bit about Salesforce. If you're new to Salesforce, I think we have a few on the call here. I can tell that are using Salesforce, which is great already, and might be exploring kind of expansion of their Salesforce system. We maybe have a few on the call that might be brand new to Salesforce. So great to have a little bit of a of a grounding there. So understanding this, Salesforce can be a pretty big platform, as you saw. There's a lot of opportunity with it. It's the world's leading CRM. And it can maybe be overwhelming when thinking about like, how do I get started with Salesforce as a platform? We've heard that, we've seen that primarily, I would say, from smaller nonprofits that are really just kind of starting out in the organization, or they've reached maybe kind of their maximum point with managing spreadsheets, and they want to evolve to a system that they can then continue to grow with as their organization grows. That was actually Vera's story as well. Back in 2010, when we were started, we actually started a Salesforce system, a Salesforce instance for our internal team, and it was quite sparse at the beginning. There wasn't much on it, but it's grown significantly since those early days, and we now do all of our HR on Salesforce and all of our project management through a PSA tool called Client. We do all of our sales pipeline management, all of our account management. We've integrated now with Slack. So we really expanded our Salesforce system, and it's kind of grown. It's kind of a product of the growth that we've had as an organization. So we oftentimes kind of share that as encouragement to really just kind of get started small and get started on the platform. So a quick start is a standardized system implementation. It's a cost-effective way to move from spreadsheets and other data management tools to Salesforce. We have had organizations move from kind of like smaller point solutions if they're wanting to think about how they can centralize some of their solutions on the platform. And really, it's a way to get up and running in as little as 6 weeks. So organizations can initiate data and operations management on this kind of central, scalable, and innovative platform. And like the case with Vera, we call our system VeraForce. Like our VeraForce system, we can grow. It can grow as the organization grows, and both in kind of management of programs, management of funds, and in people as well. We created Quick Starts really because there's a greater demand for sector accountability and transparency. There's, as we're kind of all aware, and the need of reporting back to funders, the need of just really being accountable to each other, as we see kind of there's organizations across different thematic areas or across different UN Sustainable Development Goals that are all driving towards really similar problems. And it's helpful to have this information and then also be able to share this information more broadly so we can kind of contribute collectively to solving some similar problems. NGOs really need solutions to streamline and automate processes. There's not a lot of time. I think someone had input earlier that they want the data to work for them rather than them working for the data. That's a big shift in terms of kind of like whether we're enslaved to our data or really the data is kind of a powerful tool that's helping kind of propel towards our organizational objectives. And the economic squeeze has driven really off-the-shelf solutions rather than customized systems. So in the last decade, say 2 decades even, we've just seen such a shift from moving from more highly custom solutions to configurable solutions like the Salesforce platform that again can kind of have varying degrees of how much configuration is needed from the onset and how and where an organization might grow alongside it. So we have 3 different quick start solutions. We've created one for fundraising, one for program delivery, and one for portfolio management impact measurement. These are all primarily for organizations that are brand new to Salesforce. So these are going to be kind of out of the box systems that are installed into a new Salesforce environment. There's likely not going to be anything else in that Salesforce environment. And so we're really kind of starting with a new Salesforce system. The first one here about fundraising is really looking at individual and institutional fundraising, inbound donation management, contacts and accounts, donor management, payments tracking. Programs delivery is really actually intended for us to help organizations kind of deliver their programs. And then portfolio management impact measurement is thinking about that bigger picture of projects or programs that an organizations may manage. And we'll drill into further details around each of these in just a moment. Great. So what can you expect with a quick start? One, it's really just the opportunity to have access to a Salesforce system, which is implemented kind of through a collaborative process. We'll talk a little bit about what that process looks like and how we're building these in just a moment. But in addition to that, you'll also have access to a user guide. So you'll have kind of your team will have a written guide of detailed steps of how to use kind of each module of the system that you can then build upon and you can customize for individual team members, but you can also kind of serve as a starting point for any organizations that are for your kind of organizational growth and training. You'll also have access to a systems requirements document. And we really find that this is helpful for, again, like building on the requirements over time. So knowing kind of what requirements or user stories and kind of the systems build speak, is this system accommodating? And actually then you can develop further requirements or user stories and build upon that system in the future. We'll provide some data migration training specifically for accounts and contacts. We know you can't really, I would say, get started without having those accounts and contacts, which are probably tracked somewhere and probably in a beautiful spreadsheet, as Rory mentioned. And we want to help bring those over into into the system. We also want to support in kind of getting, again, on the kind of the training lines. Salesforce has something called Trailhead, and maybe Zenit, if you can drop that as well in the open chat, just the link to Trailhead, because that might be helpful for some of our attendees on the call here. You can head on they have a Trailhead, which allows you to kind of create learning trails. So it's an interactive platform for being able to collaborate in kind of specific modules and learn about the Salesforce platform. So we'll provide a trail mix for your team that will hopefully, as well as alongside the user guide, support user adoption. A system design document, so you can build upon that with future system growth, and then a data model. Those are kind of standard, I would say, systems design documents that will kind of serve as the beginnings of your system documentation. And we at Vera are fairly, I would say, diligent about our systems documentation. We find that that's quite important for systems growth, and particularly if you're handing over and seeing quite a bit of kind of changes within your organization. All right, so all of our quick starts, implementations will include the ability to manage accounts and contacts. You can collaborate by adding comments to records and so forth, mentioning colleagues. That's through something called Salesforce's chatter functionality. You can view data and reports and dashboards. So Salesforce, as you heard from Rory earlier, offers kind of this baseline layer of analytics. So you can be able to view those reports and dashboards. Eventually, you may want to kind of push that to Power BI or Tableau or another BI tool that you're using. We'll rename system labels to align with your terminology. We'll train key users on the usage, and then also share detailed documentation to further build upon. They don't include, and I would say this is more like opportunities for future system expansion, which we've seen kind of many organizations look at, but multi-currency and multi-language mobile offline data collection could be another tool, could be a tool you're already using that you're integrating into the platform. Custom data cleaning, transformation, or migration. Sometimes we see organizations take this on themselves, but this could also be a separate project that an organization is engaging with our team on. Custom automation, which is great way to expand and kind of, we think about those end state benefits, automate processes and save your team time, hopefully. Custom data security and visibility requirements, which the Salesforce platform has the capabilities to do, and then integration with other software. These can all be kind of added as subsequent phases of the work. We haven't included them in our quick starts, really because there's no kind of common denominator of requirements around this list of 6 here. And we want to build these quick starts kind of for the common denominator, and really kind of serve as kind of like an off-the-shelf product that can be built upon. So let's first dig into the quick start for fundraising. You can see here we have like a nice little dashboard. It looks like our funding's really only coming in 2023 based on that first report there, but you can get a little bit of a taste of what a Salesforce dashboard looks like on the homepage if you haven't seen that before. We'd be happy to show you what more look like in follow-up if it's helpful. The fundraising features, we can help manage. This system will help manage inbound individual and institutional donations, track payments and receivables. It doesn't include a payment gateway or donor portal, but these are areas, again, that we can expand upon the Quick Start solution after the 6 weeks of the initial Quick Start. Program delivery, we're getting into kind of individual services that we're delivering so we can manage our programs and offered benefits and services. Again, the terminology can be adjusted and relabeled so it speaks the language of your internal definitional library and processes. It can manage beneficiary profiles or participant profiles. Beneficiary is the term they use in what we're using here in Nonprofit Cloud for programs. It can track beneficiary attendance in the programs, manage the beneficiary registration, manage the sessions for each offered benefit, and then also manage outcomes and the associated indicators. In the program delivery module or quick start, I would say we're not including kind of the receive and review individual program applications, tracking beneficiary scores or grades, managing assessments and surveys. opening and managing cases for beneficiaries, as well as we don't have a portal for external users to input and manage beneficiary data. All of this, again, is possible. So for organizations that are maybe wanting to kind of move from like a government mandated tool or spreadsheets or another kind of point solution for even case management, this solution is built on the nonprofit cloud. And nonprofit cloud for programs also has access, or has quite a bit of opportunity to build out case management. And maybe we can also drop that link, Zena, in the chat for others to look at kind of what the nonprofit cloud for programs functionality is. That gives, you can get a little bit more of a sense of what's possible with nonprofit cloud for programs. The third solution here is the portfolio management and impact measurement. So as we see on kind of the dashboard here, it's an overview of what does our total portfolio look like, of programs or projects or whatever we want to call it, investments and so forth. And we can look at, in this one, we can look at managing programs and projects, or the correct terminology for your organization, the roles of internal and external organizations across these projects and programs, classifying them by geographies or thematic areas, managing the implementation plans and activities and kind of Gantt charts, managing the project budgets, expenditure, disbursements, and actuals, risks and actions for the resolution, and then really kind of quite a bit of impact measurement functionality. So building out a logical framework or a theory of change with the baseline and targets, indicators, and results, and then managing kind of more qualitative narrative reports and deadlines. This solution is actually built on AMP Impact, which Rory mentioned earlier, and AMP Impact is a product built by Vera. We started incubating it back in 2015 and launched it on the Salesforce App Exchange in 2017 alongside the Aga Khan Foundation. And it's really seen a lot of growth since then. So AMP Impact's now used to manage over 12 billion of programs, projects, and grants around the world. And we've kind of seen it as like serve as really kind of the baseline for organizations' kind of portfolio management on the Salesforce platform. We've seen a lot of organizations kind of start to see Salesforce as a place not just for fundraising and donation management or CRM, as many organizations knew it as, and as really the Salesforce platform started as, but as a place to manage programs and projects and impact across kind of these 8 bullets that you're seeing on the screen here. So we're excited to build on AMP Impact and really kind of offer this quick start on AMP Impact, so organizations can kind of get started and just have kind of greater accessibility to a highly, I would say, used platform or product in the space. The quick start solutions for PM and IM, we also kind of have some add-ons for this. So the first would be awards. So we can manage the incoming institutional funds and then the fund allocation and allocate them to programs and projects. These are kind of additional add-ons that are extend beyond the 6 weeks and our traditional quick start pricing. And then a partner portal. So something else we've found like fairly common across organizations is the need to kind of open this up to implementing partners or grantees, or if you're kind of an international NGO or kind of any other kind of complementary partners that may be supporting you in the delivery of your programs and projects and may want some insight into how those programs and projects are performing, as well as being able to kind of input some of the data associated with them. Great. So how does this work? We want to help get you up and running in as little as 6 weeks, because we also know that most of the time, time is of the essence as we're getting started on a platform. So generally, if I think a few of you on the call here have engaged in kind of Salesforce or in Vera's consulting services in the past, generally, I would say if you're looking for more of a customized solution, we're going to start with a discovery, design, and prototype phase. Most of the time, kind of building that prototype to center the discovery conversations and then move into solution design. Phase 2 would be more kind of the actual configuration. So after we've landed on the solution design and really, really kind of customize what this solution is for your organization, we can then move into the build on the platform and into training, and then move into ongoing support, which we will talk a little bit about our managed services offerings in a moment as well. This can take anywhere, I would say, from like three, we have 9 months on here, up to 9 months. I would even say like up to 2 years. We have organizations that are just doing much, much bigger builds, and the customized solution is the right right sort of solution for them in helping achieve their end objectives. The other alternative is this quick start solution, which takes a little bit of a different approach. You'll see kind of we're not doing this first discovery and design phase. We're basically installing the quick start solution, training key users, and providing documentation. And then the future phase could actually be additional configuration or discovering design, depending upon kind of how well suited the system is and what sort of feedback is coming in from end users. And then we move into ongoing support after the configuration and training. And we have some specific managed services support options that are a little bit different than our standard managed services support options, because we really want to focus on user adoption, and that being kind of the most important to helping kind of ensure that you're getting value for the quick start solution and the ongoing Salesforce license fees associated with it. So a quick start is going to look a little bit like this. We'll engage in a project kickoff, we'll review existing systems, processes, and terminology. We want to have access to your organization's documentation so we can review it beforehand and kind of assess how and where it might align to the quick start solution, and the fields and the objects in Salesforce speak that we've mapped out. We will then install the solution package and lightly configure it to align to your terminology. So it'll be in you'll as the organization own that Salesforce org. You'll have access to all the data. You'll be responsible for managing users and access and so forth. And we'll install in that. So we'll have access to that for a little bit, a portion of time as we're building the system. We'll then conduct a demo. So a demo virtually with the team, as well as some training. So kind of doing live training so that you're able to really understand and absorb what the solution is, and then be able to kind of build upon that and train other team members as they join the team, and hopefully as you grow. And then provide documentation, so system documentation to support system use and future system enhancements as well. Great. So that's a little bit about our quick starts. We anticipate that there'll probably be some questions that are coming up. So I'm going to pass it back over to Rory in a moment here, who will address some of these. But kind of first one would be, what other functionality would you want to see within a quick start? And background here is that we're certainly learning, and these 3 quick starts around fundraising, program delivery, and then portfolio management, impact measurement are ones that we've heard a lot in the kind of privileged place that we are to be able to chat with hundreds of organizations on a monthly basis. But what other functionality would we want to see here? Clear dashboards, certainly. I think visualizations are very important. We find, I would say, the two biggest kind of indicators of system success are simplicity and opportunities for kind of data analysis. And clear dashboards are kind of the ultimate outcome that we want to see in any system. So we have included, I would say, within each of these at least one dashboard with varying reports. And kind of more importantly, we would want to be able to ensure that the system's collecting the right data, and that your organization is able to build your own reports and dashboards and feel kind of equipped and empowered to do that on your own. So you're not needing to lean on an outside source for that. And that's also where kind of managed services can fit in. Tracking of results versus targets. Yeah, great. That's actually part of our program management impact measurement quick start, kind of around the portfolio. Could also be something that we want to build into the program's quick start as well. So that's good feedback for our team if we want to eventually kind of bring that in. That one is built on the nonprofit cloud for programs, which has a little bit of outcomes functionality in it, but not a great, I would say, kind of user interface for targets versus results. Clean and easy to use UI UX. Yeah, certainly. Again, kind of down to what drives user adoption is simplicity and value to the end user. And that simplicity needs to be quite simple. So we're not, Salesforce can be overwhelming. I think, like, as you saw earlier, there's quite a bit with the platform, And part of our goal is to really kind of make this less overwhelming and capitalize on some of the ways that, particularly I would say through the new nonprofit cloud and access to the kind of core platform on Salesforce, we're leveraging ways to kind of simplify and guide user experiences. Ongoing support, yes. And this is actually something that we really highly encourage at the end of a quick start. So as I mentioned, we have a little bit of a different kind of managed services offering for quick start organizations. We're happy to share that in follow up as well. These are some good ones. Helpful feedback. If you have anything that's kind of like wild and maybe you'd want to see, pop it in there, because we learn through these types of settings, and it's helpful to pass along to our team. Great, we can move on though. Next question is just, what hesitations might you have in pursuing a Salesforce Quick Start solution? What fears do you have? What concerns might you have? Again, really helpful to understand this so we can, I think, really just to kind of see if there are any ways that as a consultancy we can support the sector in kind of overcoming these. Yeah, so lack of technical knowledge, that's a significant one. And a journey for many organizations for building up that technical knowledge. One way that we've thought about addressing this is through certainly the documentation and a user guide and the training, but also again through kind of the ongoing support or managed services, because we find kind of just continued engagement with an outside technical team, at least for kind of 6 months or so, builds the baseline for at least 1 or 2 individuals within your organization, whether it's someone who's identified as a system administrator or a super user, and then their kind of shift to leaning on the data and becoming a little bit more data driven in the organization can help build up that technical knowledge. Another, I would say, quick one is kind of why we build on Salesforce is actually because there's a community of 60,000, I believe, right? Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, other nonprofits using Salesforce, and ways that you can engage with other nonprofits through a central platform that Salesforce offers and so forth, which we find is kind of helpful for organizations, but certainly something that takes time and takes dedication and so forth. Any others you'd want to call out in here, Rory?
Yeah, speaking to the maybe it always seems expensive, or the eventual system costs or investment costs. As we mentioned, I think Salesforce has come a long way to offer nonprofits an affordable opportunity, and I think we've also come with the opportunity to, I think, removing some of that initial investment that's needed through the Power of Us that Salesforce offers, but through these various quick start applications, right? So what we're trying to do is move you off of Excel, move you off of that disparate systems, bringing it into a source of truth, and trying to remove some of that initial cost that a lot of organizations, I think, fear. Or just seemingly think that exists. But I think what we're trying to do is showcase that some of the barriers have been removed. I think now gives you this opportunity really to leverage Salesforce and what it has to offer, and help you get started in as quick as time as possible. Yeah. And then the ability to customize, adapt in the future. As Katrina mentioned, we do have a host of service offerings that can support you, whether it's maintenance or looking at your requirements that may or may not suit a quick start opportunity just yet. But how can we support you in getting with the system that could require, let's say, speaking to your grantees, if you're a grant maker, etc., through existing or further expanding on opportunities to help collaborate with them, getting in that data. We can definitely enhance what you're currently doing, and how can we adapt what you're currently doing and inputting that into Salesforce in the best way possible, and as good stewards really of your data. So there's all that to say, there's definitely an opportunity that we could help extend this for you by simply adding 1 or 2 things to it. Yeah.
Yeah, And I'd say like more likely than not, we're going to be customizing or adapting in the future. And I guess the beauty of the Salesforce platform and building on a platform and not having to design something custom, and then at the end of that design, realizing that um, there's a there's a lot more that we haven't fed into the requirements.
Mhm.
Yeah, team's ability to use, I think that comes as well with just technical knowledge. And again, kind of something we're always really open to feedback and from organizations is like how can we help, knowing that resources are limited, how can we help continue to foster growth amongst organizations? So there's not necessarily a requirement to lean on another external consultancy and spend valuable dollars on that as well. So convening organizations is something that we're hoping to grow in as well. And again, welcome feedback on that. Great. Let's move on to just what comes next.
Perfect. So now that you have seen, obviously everything we spoke about in terms of leveraging fundraising, quick starts, leveraging the program delivery, quick start, portfolio management, and impact measurement, and just understanding if you do want us to share any additional information, or you simply want us to contact us because you do have some questions. There's questions around could it extend into other areas of your business or other departments or other divisions, etc., we'll gladly have that conversation. So please do not feel or do not hesitate to contact us directly should you have any additional information or need any additional information, because we'll gladly support you. I think as a first step, we would love to obviously have that conversation, because it's all about understanding just what your current challenges are, how can we bring you to a system or a source of truth and digitalize what you're currently doing and move you off of Excel, right? I think we would love to have that conversation. So as you can see, please do not hesitate to reach out to Katrina or myself. We'll leave our information here after, and we'll gladly support you with that. I think firstly, if you do want us to contact you, simply leave a yes or no, and we'll give you a call back within the course of the week, and we'll set up something we can definitely have a chat and start to have that conversation. This is obviously hidden right now, but please take a moment. Obviously, using that QR code or simply email us, like we said, we would love to have that conversation and try to get you started in as quick as time as possible. Or if you do want any additional, or if there's anything else we could offer you, we will gladly have that conversation and try to support you. Thanks, Katrina.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for your engagement. Welcome feedback, as Roy mentioned, and we will hopefully be chatting in the near future. Thanks,
Lovely.
Rory. Thanks
Thanks
all.
again.